What's up, everybody? We are live right now on the real estate wholesaling real estate ring, where we call sellers live, and you guys can see exactly what we're doing. We're in the trenches. We're calling sellers. Lane was just on a appointment. Nathan Valley and me, we're doing deals out here. We're doing this so you guys can see what it really looks like to close deals. And so stay tuned. This is what you're going to get. I'm going to introduce myself for those of you who don't know me. Then we're going to go with Lane, then Nathan, so you guys know who we are. My name is Nathan Payne. I've been in the wholesaling game, real estate game for several years now, closed hundreds of deals. And again, the purpose of us doing all these things, these calls, is to help you guys close more deals. So that's who I am. Lane, who are you? Who the heck are you?
Lane Peterson, same thing. I'm in the wholesale game, been here since 2009, since the market crashed. I'm out of Arizona. I was building houses before then, and I rolled into doing distressed real estate, and I love it.
I love it.
That's
All right,
awesome. I'm actually glad for that intro because this is our first time getting a chat, Lane. So that's cool, man. Went from building homes to be like, you know what? Let me just wholesale these things instead.
Well, I had to adapt or die. It's like you had to pivot, you had to adapt or die. That was like 2009 hit, and it was like you had to move quick. And if you didn't, you were left in the dust.
There's been some adapting recently too, man. I've had to adapt my business. I used to have a big wholesaling team. Now it's, we're keeping it tight and small, so keeping the overhead low and doing more deals and making more money. So adaptation is good.
Nathan, yeah, with that said, guys, I'm Nathan Valley. Not to get confused with Nathan Payne. Done a bunch of deals in Michigan, New York, Florida, Utah's where we're doing most of them right now. Very similar story to Nathan Payne. Bigger company, right? A lot of overhead, doing deals. Looked really cool on paper, but no one ever tells you the details, right? So when you do, $67,000 deal, sounds cool. Not that cool when you got $50,000, $60,000 in marketing expenses. so guys, and we're here to show you there's a better way of doing things. I'm going to show you how to do these deals live, and trust me, with what we're doing now and kind of what we're showing you guys here today and on these calls, guys, there's a way you can do this business. You can be much, much, much more profitable and to where it makes sense and works really well for you. So, yeah.
So our plan, just so everybody's watching this live or will watch it, our plan is to make calls live, teach you guys and show you guys how we're going through the process, and so you can learn and you can take action, and so it's not scary for you. So that's our plan, and our promise is that we're going to make calls live. That's our promise to you guys. We're showing you how it's done. We're not just talking about it and talking about something we did 5-6 years ago that worked. We're doing it right now, so you can see that this is actually something we do, and you can judge for yourself whether it's good or not. So Lane, I know you got some leads that we can call, but I think you said you have an appointment you went on earlier today. You want to kind of talk to us about that first?
Yeah. Yeah, and just so everybody knows, there's a difference between inbound and outbound leads, right? Your outbound leads are your cold calling SMS. Those are super cold, take a lot of nurturing, take a lot of time, and it's a lot of work, but they're super cheap, right? You can do that for almost free, or little to no cost. And then there's inbound leads, which are pay per click, you pay per lead, your SEO, you're putting money out there on Facebook, on Google AdWords, and you're paying for them to call you, right? So all of my leads right now are all inbound. And so the much higher quality, a little bit easier conversations. But that's the difference. That's good. So people know the difference between inbound and outbound leads and the quality of them.
I want to say something super quick about that. Now, you said that SMS and cold calling, it is cheaper, but it also does produce a lot more leads. So the amount of time it takes to filter through those is a lot more time. So even if it is cheaper, I also think it's way more time consuming. So I mean, inbound all day for me.
Yeah. And starting out, I mean, cold calling, SMS is agent outreach are the almost free ways to go and get started in this business. Once you start proving that proof of concept, getting your deal done, getting some cash rolling in, then you can put it back in your business and start paying for leads and get higher quality leads. Because it's a much different conversation when someone's calling you that they want to sell your house. Whereas if you're reaching out to them saying, hey, you want to sell? You ever interested in selling? It's a completely different conversation.
Yeah, that's 100% agree. And I'll kind of give a little bit of a different perspective as to what Payne was saying. So about 95 to 98% of like what I cut my teeth on was all outbound cold call leads, right? And you learn to get really good at sales when you're just chatting with cold calling leads. And the one thing I'll say is 100% is, guys, leads are not all equal. You know, just kind of what Lane was describing, you know, 100 cold call leads and 100, you know, PPC leads or Facebook leads, those are very, very, very different. You know, 5 click leads might be worth 100 cold call leads. It's on every market. And then one other thing I'll say is, as far as ease, I'll actually give kind of a different outlook on it, because I think there's 2 ways to look at it. Outbound, it takes a lot of time. But the nice thing is you get to control those time blocks of when you're working it. Whereas inbound, one of the hard things is, because it's inbound, you never know when they're going to make that call inbound to you. And so one of the big things with inbound is you got to be able to pick up that call live or get back to them, you know, within seconds or minutes. And so for me personally, I was one of those people to where I never liked feeling like I was glued to my phone, just waiting for it to ring, you know, all day, every day. And so for some people, cold calling or texting might be a better fit. But yeah, inbound leads, much better conversation.
So, good point.
Yeah. So I 100% agree. So I went out on an appointment this morning. It was a local lead. I 90% of my business is buying virtual. So outside of my market, I reside here in Phoenix, Arizona. This one came in and it was a local lead, and it was a PPC lead. So pay per click. Right. And so somebody Googled sell my house fast, sell it for cash, whatever they Googled. Luckily they landed on my landing page, filled out a web form, and I got the lead, got on the phone, had a conversation with this sweet lady, Leslie, and learned that they're in distress. The house isn't that bad of shape. They're in distress though. They've racked up a bunch of debt. They do have some equity in their home. It needs a completely new roof, which is going to cost them about $30,000, which they don't have. And so they need about $100,000 over what they owe to be able to pay off the debt that they have that's kind of really hurting and damaging their life right now, and they want to get out of it. And so it was a great meeting. I mean, I don't know how to upload pictures, but I could upload pictures of the house, but it's out here in West Phoenix in Avondale. And
you said you went in person?
I did, yeah. If it's a local lead, I want to be there. I want to be belly to belly. I want to be shaking hands, kissing babies, talking eye to eye contact. 100%, you're gonna have more likely to get that deal than if just over the phone.
Agreed. I love it. So what's the scenario on it?
It's actually really cool, because what I like to talk about a lot and actually even teach people is it's extremely valuable as a home buyer, as a cash buyer, to have multiple tools in your tool belt, right? And so a lot of times, because we get into this business thinking everything is cash offer. Well, that's not the case, and that's probably not the case that's going to most benefit the seller. I like to look at my business as helping people, right? I love helping people, and so I know that a cash offer is not going to be the best solution for them. And so what are the other options? Well, there's creative finance, there's sub 2, right? Or there's retail. You can take it retail, do it through a Novation, or if it's your local market and your license, you can help them doing that way. So this home is worth about $600,000, and she wants to walk away with.
So is that ARV or
that is ARV, after repaired value. So if you want to write these numbers down,
I'm gonna write it down. But real quick, at the very bottom, I'm just putting the options that you said. You said you got Novation, cash, creative, and then you said what's the other one? I know you can wholesale it.
There's 3.
So anyway, I'm just putting it at the bottom. I'm trying to make it look. So good.
Hotel is your exit, right? That's your exit strategy. But as far as your acquisition, there's really those 3 options, right? Your cash, your sub 2, creative finance, and retail, Novation.
That's it, brother. All right, man.
That's your acquisitions. That's your 3 options of acquisitions. If you guys can think of another one, please let me know, because I don't think there is.
Some people might say like listing it, right? Wouldn't you say
that's retail?
I didn't put
retail / Novation.
Okay, let's say Novation and retail are the same. Okay. So, all right, let's talk about this deal. You got this one is in Phoenix, right? AZ.
Yep.
Okay, what are
Home
the
is
numbers?
worth, ARV is $600,000.
Okay. All right.
Needs a new roof. Everything else is pretty clean, but it's probably with the new roof and everything going to take about 40,000.
40K for the new roof and some odds and ends, right?
And then you got 6% in realtor commissions when you sell it, right? Which is $36,000. So if I get this home and I list it for 600, I put in 40,000 and I paid real estate commissions, I'm walking away with $524,000. They want 520.
Yo, Lane, you kind of like that old school calculator, huh?
Hey, don't make fun of my Walmart stuff, dude.
Let
This thing works just as good and gives me the same numbers.
let me throw it in here. I like to do this. So you said,
Oh, now you're just gonna get it all. I'm just trying to get like simple here.
okay,
She wants
well,
520, and those
520.
numbers I'm walking away with 524.
Okay, let's see. All right, I'm not going to mess around with this right now, but anyway.
Yeah, see, Walmart calculator were great.
Yeah, we don't want to complicate it for the people. All right, so 524 after commissions and after rehab. That's if you flip it yourself, correct?
That's if I sold it for 600, put 40 into it, paid commissions, I'm walking away with 524.
And the seller's asking 520 for a cash.
Asking 520 for a cash offer.
Did they say, or I don't know if you asked them, did they say like, why they haven't just listed it or fix it up themselves or any of those routes?
They don't have the money to put a new roof on it. And they know that it's built in 1994 and that roof is failed. It's done. And they don't have the money to do that. And they know that any retail buyer that's going to buy that house is going to want a new roof. And then they are against listing it. They don't like dealing with showings with people walking through their home, and they're deathly afraid of an inspector asking even more than the roof, and they just don't want to deal with it. They'd like to just have their cash and go.
So that's why on this one, are you thinking, tell us what's your process? Because my mind's going right now what I would do. What would you do? What are you going to do?
So I had a very honest, direct conversation with her saying that you can see this, the cash offer doesn't work. If I pay 520, I'm going to be losing a lot of money. So I did hit her with my cash offer, and that was at 450,000. And I thought that was a pretty fair cash offer. If I got to go put all that money into it and I'm listing a house for $600,000 in this market with interest rates at 7%, you might be sitting on it for a while because that's a very high payment these days when the interest rates being what they are. So I told her my cash offer. I said, this is where we would be, as is, straight to the point, simple, don't have to worry about anything else. She's like, well, you're like $70,000 off. So I said, hey, there is another program that we do offer that if I can get it approved, I could get you a lot more money. It just takes a little bit more time, which is novation, right? Which is taking it retail. But they don't want to deal with realtors, right? They don't want to have to do the negotiations and deal with the inspector and deal with the repairs and all that. So I said, if I can get this approved in our other program, I can get you a lot more money. And it's probably going to be around $500,000. Now, and I'm completely direct with them. I'm going to come in and I'm going to put a new roof on this with my money. I'm going to put a new roof on this, and I am going to put it on the open market and handle everything. If inspectors, all you have to do is make sure and open the door for people that want to come in and see the home. So the reason I came up,
I'm running the numbers just in the background on the novation. What would you list it as is for on a novation?
Well, yeah, I don't have the as-is price because I'm planning on putting a new roof on it.
Well, no, I mean like after the roof, like because you're obviously not going to do too much to it other than the roof. So
it doesn't need a whole lot. But in the $40,000 rehab, I gave myself quite a bit of a buffer because I think that it's really going to be around 25 to 30 with the new roof, and you got to just refinish the cabinets in the kitchen. Everything else it's a pretty nice house. Great
Yeah.
pool, great yard, great everything.
What would you list it as?
So after putting the roof on it and painting those cabinets, I'd list it at 600.
Okay, so you go 600 and then you'd put about 30 into it on a novation deal.
Yeah, 25 to 30 on a novation. I am licensed, so it would only cost me 3% for the listing, maybe another 2%, so say 5% in listing and closing costs.
Right.
One more question I had was what's kind of their motivation for moving? Like is staying in the house an
Pay
option?
off their debt. They want to pull their equity. They need $100,000 to pay off their debt, and they're over home ownership. They don't like it. They don't like the maintenance. That they have a big yard. It's kind of a big house, and they've just been dumping money into it. They put a couple new AC units on it over the years. They put new windows in it, and it's just draining them. And now they got all this debt, and they just need to be done.
So for everybody, sorry.
Oh
so
yeah, I was just gonna point out real quick. So guys, all those questions that I asked. So Lane obviously crushed it on the interview because, guys, you don't need to be a master salesman, right? There's definitely there's certain lines here and there that are great, but just look at kind of the things that we went through, right? Lane had a conversation with the sellers and asked them about all the other options, right? When you're talking with a seller or whoever, guys, list out all the other options to them. Hey, have you thought about doing this? Have you thought about maybe just fixing it up yourself? And what happens is at the end of the conversation, and I promise, guys, you're not saying anything that they haven't thought of, right? Yes, they know agents exist. Yes, they know they could fix it up themselves. But what happens is when you ask them all that questions, they are telling you why you are the only option for them. They're telling you why you are the perfect buyer for them. And what's great is you now have all the information of what's important for them, what's going on in this situation. And then from there, you know that you're the best fit, and then you can create the best offer and put it on a silver platter for them. Because now the nice thing is the sellers, right, they say they want 520, right? Lane gave us all the numbers. 520 doesn't really work for a cash offer. But because you did such a good job on that appointment, the best case scenario, like now you have all the leverage because you can just say, well, I mean, I guess what is it you want to do? Is staying an option? And you already know that's not the case, right? So they have to make something work because none of the other options work. And then that's where we're really able to move the needle. So awesome job in the appointment, Lane.
Hey, appreciate that. And simple math, Payne, if I list it for, this was my thought process. And if I list it for 600, I'm going to have $25,000 to $30,000 in the repair, right? I'm going to have 5% in closing costs and realtors. And then whatever that difference is my buffer for maybe I messed up on repairs or something, and my novation, what I'm going to make on my novation fee. Right. So that is the difference. And that's how
this is how I run the numbers on novation. So you had 600,000 is the list price. If you want to sell it fast, we usually just do like a 95% of that price, just so you could even list it if you need to go down 3% of the commission. Since you're an agent, you don't need to, take the 3% of that as well. So you're going to probably pay 3% to a buyer's agent, closing costs, your desired profit. And then I put the repair costs. That one is at 1,000, but if you go later, look at the other one, I put 30,000, like the one analysis. So anyway, you could potentially, if you want to make $15,000 on this deal, if you wanted to, you could give her $499 versus the cash offer that you gave her at $450. So if you just want to make 15, you can give her around almost 500,000, right? $50,000 more than your original cash offer at 450. Now, if you're like, hey, she's like, you know what, cash 450, but I'd be okay at 475, then you just increase obviously your fee, your novation fee by 30, by 15K, you can make 30. So anyway, this enables you to offer more. So do you have a kind of an idea of what you're trying to make on it?
So I called her on my drive home because I did all the calculations just, as I was in my truck on my way back to the office. And I called her and I said, hey, I can get this property approved for our other program. And like I said, it takes a little bit more time, and we do all this work and put it on the open market and get it all done for you. And we handle everything. It's kind of like a white glove service. And if we can go, if you guys want to go that route, I can get you a lot more money. And I offered her 500,000, your exact number that you just had in that spreadsheet.
Amazing, bro. Amazing.
So she's talking to her husband. She's talking to her husband tonight about it. She was super grateful. She's like, oh my gosh, because another cash buyer had walked out right before I walked in an appointment.
And he's probably going to be around 400.
She told me she was at 450, or he was at 450. So, she was super grateful. Like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for giving me other options, right? Giving me something else other than just this cash offer, or I got to go hire a realtor and go through all that pain and anguish, which we don't want to do. So really it's what I always say. Yeah. It's helping them solve their problems, finding the best solution for them.
I think 30K for a roof. I mean, this is a big house or something. I don't think you'd have to pay that much to get it, repaired up. Do you?
No, and I didn't get an exact quote, but like I said, I'm giving myself a buffer. I think I can get it done for less than 20.
Right. So what's the increase?
It's the unknown.
Yeah. So, the one thing I just want everyone to know that's watching this is, like, when we're looking at opportunities of people to work with, we look at the options, right? So Lane, you use the calculator, you run the numbers. I like to use a spreadsheet. It doesn't matter, but there are options. So if you just make a low cash offer and that's all you got, I'd say good luck in this business right now. Like, if that's all the tools you have in that tool belt. So that's the purpose of this call again, guys, is to show you that the guys that are doing more deals, it's because we have more options, right? And we want you guys to have those options. And if you can't do those, you can't negotiate it, you can call me, you can call Lane, you can call Nathan. We'll help you negotiate your deals, because we love to do deals with you, right, Lane? That's why we're doing this call, right?
Yeah, let's do deals together. You guys got a lead that you're struggling with to get it across the finish line. I love jumping on phone calls. This is what I do all day, every day. Work leads, and then also maybe you got one, and then you also need help disponing it. Hit us up. I mean, I've been in this game for 14 years wholesaling, and so it's squat up. I mean, hook up with people that know the business and still able to make money at it, and JV on it until you get to the level that you want to be, and then you can do it all on your own.
And Lane, I'm not trying to flex, and none of us are trying to flex, but I just know that if I would have started like 6 years ago, I would have a lead and I'd be like, no, I'm going to do it myself because I don't want to share. Guy, I know that if I would work with myself now, or any of you guys, I would triple, quadruple how much I could make, because we just know how to leverage those different options. So it's kind of crazy when you think about it. It's
perfect example. I was going to say, just to speak to the point you're making, there's somebody that we work with to where they were learning about wholesaling, part of kind of mentorships and stuff, and trying to do it themselves for a year. Got nowheres, no leads, really, no real opportunities, hadn't done a deal. Start of this year, they said, okay, I'm just going to focus on the first part. They're like, I don't have all of these other skills. They're like, I don't know how to negotiate and, get it under contract. I don't know how to necessarily find the buyer or the paperwork or the title company. So they said, hey, I'm just going to get really good at finding opportunities and recognizing, okay, this is like a good motivated opportunity. And then kind of handing off that torch to us. That person, what is it? By the end of this month, that person will have collected,
close to
like 30K. over 100K in assignment fees. But that person personally, like, even with them just doing a small portion of it, they're personally going to collect, I think, like over like 30-ish, 40, like net to them personally with zero expenses, right? And then this is something to where, and I used to be the same way when I first got started. I was like, no, I want to do it all myself. But one of the things I didn't realize in the beginning is, guys, there's a lot of skills that go into this, right? There's the prospecting and lead generation. That's like a very different conversation from then negotiating, closing, signing the contract, then finding buyers, negotiating with buyers, having that conversation, then the transaction coordination and paperwork, and then also putting out fires when it pops, hey, what about when some technical issue pops up with the title company or that. So when you're trying to build, right, all of those different bridges at one time, that's why for so many people, it takes 6, 12, 18 months, 2 years for them to do a single deal. It's because you're trying to build 7 different bridges, just one brick at a time. And you run into one bridge, prospecting, and you put down a brick. And then you go to closing and you put down one brick. And then you go to dispositions and talking to buyers and you put down one brick. Well, if you and you're wondering, why is it taking me so long to get across this bridge? Well, guys, if you just really honed in on focus on one thing and said, hey, it's okay. I'm not going to worry about keeping 100%. I'd rather make a little bit, of a watermelon in the next 30 to 60 days than have a watermelon
No,
2.5
no.
years from now.
or keeping a whole grape. That's what they say. They say you want
Or
a
grape,
piece
yeah,
of
however you
watermelon, you want a grape. All right. Anyway, Lane, we got to do what we promised these people. They're like, man, quit talking. Let's
Let's
get on
a call. Let's call some sellers.
Let's do it, man. This is
Okay,
How
so
would it be after like talking all that? Calls him hi.
So I mean, just so you guys know, like this is not scripted. I don't even know if these people are going to answer. I hope they do, and that's why I wanted to make sure and go over that deal in Arizona that was a lead that came in yesterday. I mean, in case some of these people don't answer, like I haven't set anything up. I have. Let's see here. I've got.
You're showing people what this is really like. It's not like they answer and they're just like, "Hey, how you doing, sir? What can I?" You gotta call a couple times, but as you do that, I'll write down kind of the steps you're taking.
So Jody Davis is her name. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that or not.
Oh, you can.
She came in as a lead this morning, and it is Upland. Well, the street is Upland Ridge, Northwest Conyers, Georgia.
Oh, bro,
I do a lot of advertising in and around Atlanta, and this is a suburb of Atlanta. I love Atlanta. Great market, great wholesale market, a lot of cash buyers, a lot of investors, a lot of hedge funds, a lot of all the above.
I grew up right there, brother. I grew up in Marietta, Georgia.
Right? Oh, that's right. I knew that. That's right.
Let's call her, man. What's up?
Let's call her. As we're talking, I'll probably get like my Zillow, Redfin, Realtor.com open and stuff. But let's call her, see if we can get on the phone first.
That just makes it real when you're looking at something or when you're talking to them.
Hello.
Hello, is this Jody?
Who's calling?
Jody, my name is Lane. I am calling because you had filled out some information on one of our websites about your property that you're trying to sell on Upland Ridge.
Yes.
How are you today?
I'm fine.
Good. Well, Jody, I wanted to reach out. I appreciate you finding us. What can you tell me about what you got going on there with that property?
I'm not sure what you're asking.
Well, just tell me a little bit about it.
I want to sell it. Like what?
Okay.
I mean,
do you have a timeline that you're looking to do that in?
The sooner the better.
Okay. Well, you came to the right place. We are a cash buyer, so we can close quick. We can buy it as is. Obviously, there's no real estate commissions or closing costs involved in it. So is the property currently vacant? Is it something you're looking to do quick?
No, I live in the property.
Okay. So do you already have another place to go and to live, or are you looking to like maybe rent back after we close for a little while until you find a place to go?
Yeah, I would probably need like 30 days after the closing date to be able to move out.
Okay. Well, we can accommodate.
I kind of just wanted to see like maybe a quote that you guys can give or something. I don't know. It's that you guys can give a quote.
Yeah, no, totally understandable. What's got you moving?
Me and my ex-fiance bought the house together. More so we're just trying to sell it. So we can part ways.
So is he on title?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Is he on title? Like, is he an owner of the home as well?
Yes.
Okay, so
and he's willing to sell also.
Okay, he's on board.
He's willing. Yeah, he's on board. I just wanted to get a quote on how much you guys offer, because we already got a quote from Open Door, but I saw this ad on I think YouTube, and it was telling me you guys do quotes too. So I just wanted to see who was the better option.
Yeah, no, we definitely do. What did Open Door offer you? $
213.
Okay. So I've sold a lot of houses to Open Door, and I know how they operate. And just out of curiosity, have you made sure that's like the net number to you? Because a lot of times they'll give a price, and then if you accept it, then they take out all their fees out of that number.
Yeah, he told me the fees were, I can't remember. He told me the fees or something like that. I think it was like 3,600 or something.
So is that number, that the 213, is that after they've taken out the fees?
No, that's before they take out the fees.
Okay. And so what would be the net to you?
Currently we owe 163 on the house.
Okay. Well, I was trying to get to the bottom of what Open Door's offer was. So if they said 213, and then there's how much in fees off of that?
I think it was 3,000.
I'm sorry, did you
So
say?
it would be like, I think it was like 3,000. He said after all the fees. So it would be like 210,000, maybe 209,000 that they would give us.
Okay. And have they been out to see the property yet?
No,
Okay. Yeah,
but we got an appraisal, and currently the appraisal is 230,000.
230. Okay.
Yeah.
And how's the overall condition of the home?
Everything's fine with it. The only thing is that storm that just happened, that tornado that touched down over by us. There's a portion of the roof that the shingles came off of. So I tried to get it covered by the insurance. They said it was like $4,000 to fix it, but that's like as much as my deductible. So they just, I'm just gonna have to fix it. So it's about $4,000.
Well, I'll be honest with you. That's a pretty dang good offer if that's what they're willing to do cash. Just be aware that, like I said, I've sold a lot of houses to the iBuyers, and they'll give you a price, they'll send you an agreement, you sign the agreement, and then they come out and do their inspection or their walkthrough, and then they hit you again for a price reduction for repairs. We always pride ourselves in, when we go to contract, we do everything possible. We're not going to ask for a price reduction. And so I would just be aware of that, and just, make sure you look out for that. Because it sounds like, to me, that's a very good offer. I mean, I wouldn't be able to get to that number of 210. I might be able to get close to 200. And that would, like I said, if once I get my guy over there to walk it and take the pictures and everything, and if it's, put together like we're talking about, I think that I could probably get close to 200.
Okay, that's okay though. Thank you.
Okay. Hey, I really appreciate you reaching out. Have you ever explored other options? Oh, I got hung up on.
That girl was sassy, bro.
Yeah, that was good, guys. That's what you call a smooth operator.
That was great. Man. Good job, bro. She kind of rattled you a little bit in the beginning, dude, because she's like, "What are you talking about?" You're like, "I think my," but she was like, "What are you talking about?" That's
Open Door's hard to compete with, but I mean, I've done it so many times, time and time again. It's like they give that price, and they don't tell the owner that their fees are going to come out of that, and then they also don't have any estimated rehab. So once they sign the agreement, then they go out there and they do their inspection. They're like, "Oh, well, we need $25,000 for repairs." So
what's the plan on this one? I would definitely. This is definitely a motivated seller, mainly because of the situation. And I wrote it down, everybody, if you guys didn't see it. She broke up with her ex. So they broke up. She has an ex-fiance. They want to sell. He's in the hospital. We didn't really go too deep into that, which is fine. But there's obviously something going on. They probably need the money. She owes 163. She got an appraisal at 230. I don't really care about appraisals. I'm sure the ARV of this property, without looking at it, maybe it's like 250, 260 or something. So I
mean, Redfin's got a 261.
Right. So like even to get you close to 200 on a cash, it'd probably be tight. But
No,
that's
yeah,
just
that is. And honestly, I was throwing it out there kind of to gauge her response to see if
right.
like there's any discussion after she has her open door offer.
And yeah, no, for sure. And I was really interested. Like 200 is still pretty close to the 210, and she's like, okay, thank you. Like, there's something, I don't know. There's something going on.
Yeah.
The one. Do you mind if I give you a critique, Lane, or no critique?
Oh, please.
I don't want to roast you.
Please.
And same with me when I make calls, critique me. I would just when you called her, it sounded like she might have been in the middle of something, or she was just like kind of like what? Like,
oh, dude, you're right. You're totally right. I should have asked if this was a good time.
That's the one thing I'd recommend, because you kind of went right into it, and I feel like you
Totally.
almost yourself. I could feel like maybe you felt like, I got to get through this quick. With that one question, hey, did I catch you at a bad time, or do you have 5-10 minutes to talk? You would have felt a lot more comfortable to, talk it through.
Good feedback for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
So-
That's the only thing.
Couple things I want to touch on as far as positives, though, guys. What and again, like a testament to been doing this for a minute, right, guys? When in the beginning, right, she was kind of a little bit of a aggressive tone, right? She sounded like she didn't really want to be on the phone, or she sounded like she was about to hang up any second, right? One wrong word.
Yeah.
If you guys noticed, he just kept moving the conversation forward, right? Naturally. And you know what happened? And this is what happens with so many sellers, right? It might start off rough, but when you keep just kind of moving the ball forward, it smooths out, they get in the groove of it, and then it turned into a perfectly fine conversation, right? And you just had to work through that little bit of that upfront barrier, that smoke screen that they put up initially, right? So kind of keep moving through that process, kind of no matter how their tone is in the beginning. And then the other thing that I love that you did, like pro move, guys, the other offer, right? She's like, oh, open door, what was it, 213. Guys, this is so great. You weren't like, oh man, they're lying, this, that. No, you pushed her to, like, that's a great offer. You should take that. Like, absolutely, hands down. Guys, whenever there's and especially because the thing is, you know how the process goes. Even if you're like, oh wait, but that's not a real offer, blah, blah, blah. And you kind of gave her a little bit of a heads up, which is good. Like, oh, hey, just keep an eye out for these things. But when you're like, yeah, that's a really good offer, you should move forward with that. The thing is, you're perfectly setting yourself up for when she does move forward with them, and then they walk it, they're like, yeah, we need to be 30 grand less. She's going to feel disgusted with that company and feel like, they wronged her. And then that's when she's like, hey, you know what, Lane, I had a really good conversation with Lane. I don't know what price exactly he's going to be at, but he was nice. I liked him. I trusted him. I'm going to have a conversation with Lane. Either I'm going to call him back, or when he sends me a follow-up text, call, or whatever, I'm going to continue that conversation. Now, the funny thing is, even if you're at the same price or lower, she would rather do the deal with you than with the other guys that, misled her and kind of made her feel this really bad experience. And that's where
people love it when they feel you're genuine.
Yeah,
100%. So yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there. That was good. That was a really great conversation.
Lane, actually, do you want to give any feedback, or not? Like, what did you learn? I got someone from the Venom he listened. Do you have anything that you learned?
No, I'm a punching bag. Give it to me.
I thought you did good. You handled it very well. I like the range offer that you put on there. I would have kind of pressed a little bit different myself. Hey, okay, great. When she mentioned the 163, hey, what if you can walk away with $20,000, $30,000 or $40,000 in your account within the next 14 to 21 days? I know we were a little close on that gap, but I thought that you got a lot of good information. You handled it very well. You pushed right through her objections. I think she will be, she's still looking, so I don't think that it's a dead deal. I think there's still an opportunity.
At the end, when she hung up on me, when I asked her, have you explored any other options? That's how I can roll into creative or novation.
Right.
But I got hung up on. But sub 2 and seller finance is very difficult in a breakup. You got
yes,
X, it is.
They don't want to be tied.
And they want their money, right? They want their money, and they're like, nah, you ain't making payments to us. Like, we're done. Get us out of here.
So Lane, this is really good because this situation that we all just saw, this happens a lot because you just talked to someone that was motivated. I would say like, yes, pursue this, but it kind of ended kind of like either she just hung up, kind of rude a little bit, to be honest. What are you going to do now? Would you call her again tomorrow and just act like that didn't happen? Would you text her and say, hey, sorry, I might've caught you at the wrong time, but I still have a couple questions. What's your plan?
She is definitely going to be in my follow-up campaign until she opts out. So I put them in my follow-up, and yes, I will call her. I'll probably give her more than a day. I'll probably give her a couple days and just see how it's going with that offer with Open Door, and just say, hey, I'm here. We're, love to give you a final offer if anything happens. So, and then she'll be in my follow-up. She'll constantly be getting text messages and emails from us until she opts out.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's definitely not turning into a dead lead.
Okay.
That is a very motivated seller right there.
Yes, it is. One thing that I would do if I were you, if this was my lead, I would text her right now and just like, hey, sorry, it seemed like I might have caught you at a bad time. I am really interested in the property still, and there's a couple options I didn't explain to you how I can buy properties. Love to hop back on in a couple days or after you get your final offer from Open Door. Love to, be of any service. I think something like that.
I will do that.
Yeah, because I think if like you don't really engage or like get back with her until later, I don't know. I just would just touch on that and just be like, hey, I'm here. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Ready for
man.
the next one?
Yeah, Lane. And I hope you're cool. I appreciate you just this feedback. I'm the same way, bro. Calls.
I love it.
You guys are gonna have a lot for me just because there's so much to remember, guys. I'm telling you. That's why it's such a skill set. Like a lot of people think when they get into this game, they can just hop on and they're closing deals. It's like, guys, it's taken years for Lane and me and Nathan to master the skill and even it's a daily thing. Like no one is born a great salesman, right? Some people can be born at communicating and talking well, but being a salesman, it's practice. Like you talk to the best sales guys, they practice every day. So just if you don't feel like you're good, it's okay. It takes practice and it takes time.
100% agree. All right, we ready for the next one?
Bro, let's keep it going.
Okay, I got a Sean Wilson in Overgard, Arizona, which is in northern Arizona. Came in as a web lead as well, PPC. So this is an inbound lead, not outbound. So there's definitely some pain or some distress or something's going on, right? You guys know the 4 pillars of wholesale, right? Price, motivation, condition, and timeline. I mean,
dude, sometimes I don't even feel like price is one of them. Sometimes I feel like everybody wants the high price unless they just lowball themselves.
I really like just getting to the point. If you guys didn't notice that, like there's so many people out there that tell you gotta do this, you gotta do these mind games, you gotta go through all 4 pillars, you gotta find out everything about it. It's like I try and get straight to the point and build a relationship through the conversation.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know if you guys know RJ Bates, but he's, king closer or whatever he wants to call himself. But, he does a pretty good job at that.
He just gets to the point. And I think there's like balance, right? There's balance of like, you can just get to the point, but also there are some people that like, you got to finesse a little bit. You got to make them feel like, they're the one, you're the one for them. So it's a dance,
Okay, here we go. I'm gonna keep calling Sean.
479.
Okay, so so you guys know what I do in my company. It's written out. Our process for intake is the first thing is you call back to back to back before you roll them over into the next, which is email and text message.
Is what I call it, but that's it. Just back.
3, 2, 1.
That's it.
479.
The reason why we call 3 times is everybody knows this. If you don't recognize the number, you probably think it's spam. So anyway, someone calls you 3 times, you know they meant to call you.
The and one thing I'll throw out there as a pro tip for people, because I know especially a lot of newer people, they're like, oh my gosh, like calling someone 2, 3, 4 times in a row, like, oh, aren't they gonna freak out when they answer? One, very rarely does that happen. Like, I honestly don't think I've ever had somebody, like, you could tell they got a little bit of a tone, but it was never a big deal. But just in case you're wondering, well, Nate, what if? The kind of card I have in my back pocket, if someone picks up the phone and they're like, oh my gosh, why did you call me 3, 4 times? I just say, I am so sorry. I don't know, but the phone was acting really weird. It got disconnected 2, 3 times. Did it ring through for you? Right? Yes. I'm like, oh, sorry. Yeah. And then lead right into the conversation.
Yeah, it's pretty simple to play off of that. So that was 3 times. And what I do, and then I move him over in my CRM, and he gets an automatic text message. He'll get a ringless voicemail. He'll get an email.
And then he starts wishing he picked up
that phone. Got something to say to that really quick. What's up?
So to piggyback on the 3 calls as well, you got to remember that a lot of these people that are in distress, they're hoping that they just can avoid a conversation and that their problems will go away. So you dialing 3 times also shows that you're serious and you really want to try to help them. And that's the way that I kind of approach it, because a lot of times these people are just going to ignore calls and hope that everything just goes away. That's just not true.
Yeah, they do wait to the last minute to sell on those pre-foreclosures, don't they, Lane?
Yeah, they do. And that's why they're okay. I got it.
Oh, so I was just gonna.
I got another one here.
Just a quick question I wanted to answer. Jack was asking, what's the best way to market to your pre-foreclosure list? Love to get your guys' inputs, but for me, I really like when it comes to omni-channel marketing, right? So if you pull a list, rather than me cold calling a list of like 10,000, I'd rather have a much smaller list, but I call the list, I text that list, and I send mail to that list. So Omni, right, you're hitting them from all angles, because there's going to be some people that respond to phone calls, some people that respond to text, some people that respond to mail. I don't know if that's, well, I know inbound is your preference, Lane.
Lane's like, forget that.
Well, no. NOT lists, I guess you're calling my bluff. NOT lists, I do still market to with my VAs. So I am cold calling a little bit for NOTs, and we got door knockers. So, but
what do you mean by NOT? Are you saying NOD or NOT?
Notice of trustee sale.
Got it.
So they've got a notice posted on their house that their house is now going into foreclosure, and there is a date for that auction.
Oh, I never heard of NOT. I call it NOD, notice of default. NOT, that's new to me.
Well, the NOT is the actual notice of the sale, the notice of the trustee sale.
So in Utah, we get a notice of default. I think it's like 90 days, or they do it. I don't know. It might be a little bit different by state, but anyway.
Yeah, I think you are right. I think it is different, because in Arizona we call them trustee sales, which I think is the same in Utah. But
hey, man,
I just call it. Sounds like you're having trouble paying for that house. You want to sell it?
Yeah, that'll go over real good. Okay, this lead is here in Arizona, in Tolleson, which is South Phoenix, a little bit of a rougher area.
That sounds kind of like it's far away. Is it within the city, like the major?
Oh, yeah.
metro?
Yeah, it's a suburb of Phoenix. It's South Phoenix. Last time I did a flip there, I got my AC unit stolen.
Wow, this sounds rough then.
So I'm definitely going to wholesale this one.
Lesson learned.
Sure. No creative, no lease options. You ain't keeping that thing. You're not staying in that.
Your call has been forwarded to
Ooh, he's busy right there.
Yeah.
I don't even mind those, because I'm like, at least maybe they hit some saying they're busy. I'm coming for them.
Emery. Oh, come on, Emery. Where is the love? Coming at you again.
Your call has been forwarded to an
It might be off. It might be off.
Maybe she's in the bathroom.
She's just, maybe, brother. Well, hey guys, this has been really good. Lane, you did it just like last week. 1 out of 3, crushing it. And guys, this is the reality. You're gonna get 1 out of 3 most of the time. That's why we leverage text, VAs to set up appointments, set calls, but it really just depends how you do your game. Lane, before we wrap up, do you have anything you want to say? Nathan Valley, you have anything you want to say?
Follow up. I mean, that follow up is key. It's very rare you're buying a house on the first call. You know, I mean, what do you think it is? 80-90% of your houses are bought off of follow up. So if you're going to be generating leads, however you're doing it, have some sort of a pipeline, have some sort of a sequence of your follow up to be able to stay in front of them. With my acquisition team, I have 20 steps. When that lead comes in, we have 20 steps until they finally don't answer. After that 20 steps, if they haven't answered us, they probably didn't want to talk to us anyway. But they still stay in our long-term drip, like our long-term campaign. But it's 20 things that we're doing. I mean, calling, texting, ringless voicemail, texting again, calling, email. I mean, it's
dude, you're hitting them up on friend requests. You're DMing them. You're
showing up to their church.
Yeah, you showing up to their house, bro.
But I mean, to do this business and do it with the most profitability is load that tool belt with all the tools to be able to help that seller that is in distress. They're calling you because they are in distress. So it's your responsibility to be able to help them as good as you can and to find a solution for them.
And Lane, you're saying you help. And I think a lot of people, when they hear about an industry, they're like, you guys aren't helping anybody. No, guys, like if you've been in this business long enough, you know we solve problems. That's how we make deals happen. If someone doesn't have a problem to solve, they usually just list it or stay in the house or flip it themselves. The people we work with, they have money is not the motivating factor for most of them. They know they're giving up. We tell them that they're not making as much as they can. It's the first thing
100%.
we say. We say, hey, you can make more money, but go ahead.
I saw a video the other day. It was Brad Lee, and he was talking about how it's all about how you perceive yourself, right? He asked his videographer, he's like, what do you do? And the videographer's like, well, I edit videos. And he's like, no, you don't. You make people famous. What do I do as a wholesaler? Like I change lives.
That's it, bro. Changing lives.
It's all about how you perceive yourself.
That's it. Nate, do you have anything you want to say? Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, I can't. Oh my gosh, the follow-up thing. Yeah, guys, I know it gets said so much to where it just kind of, it's like, yeah, I know, follow. Guys, honestly, like perfect example. We, in a few minutes, right? 1 out of 3 picked up. It's probably bigger than that, right? It's probably 1 out of 5, could be even as much as 1 out of 10. And that's with inbound leads, right? So imagine it's 1 out of 10. If you talk to 3 people, that's still about 30 people that they're interested in selling. You just have to do the work to get them back on the phone. So again, I really just want to kind of reiterate the follow-up that is so key. And then the other thing I wanted to just mention, the offers. Guys, creating an offer for the seller will change your game. And you might say, well, Nate, I don't know anything about novations.
Yeah, don't be scared.
Yeah, and it's okay if you're like, I don't understand novations. I don't know how to do it or creative finance or this or that. Guys, just the simplest principle that you can apply today in talking to sellers or agents or whoever, and you can significantly become drastically better right now. Every conversation, enter the conversation, genuinely care more about the other person's outcome than they do. And then if is your favorite word. Hey, Mr. Seller, you mentioned this. If we were able to solve that, is that something that would be of value? Hey, if we were able to do this, would that be valuable? Now, here's the thing. You might not know how to do creative. You might not know how to do novations, but you can talk to a buyer or JV with somebody that does. And now it's okay. You don't need to have those answers, but you're like, hey, I spoke to this person. I was able to uncover, here's all the problems they have. I don't know how to solve those. Can you help me with that?
Yeah, that's right.
And guys, that'll change the game for you.
I love it. Well, guys, I think it's been a good call. I love doing this, man, because it's fun to talk about how we can improve. We're improving. Lane, me, Nathan, it's a daily improvement. In order to be good at sales, it's daily practice. So I don't think you ever reach the pinnacle, you reach the top where you're the best and you can't learn. We all can learn. So guys, if you enjoyed this, We do this every Thursday at 3 p.m. MST, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to get a hold of me, go to painlessflipping.com. We have the Painless Flipping Academy that helps people learn how to get better at sales, get better, close more deals. You got Nathan Valley, also reach out to him. Lane, I know people can DM you. You want to JV with people. Where do you want people to reach out to you, Lane, if they love you and they want to just connect?
Yeah, no, you can find me. I'm HOV Lane is my Instagram, my YouTube. You can find me there. DM me if you have a deal that you need help on getting to the finish line. DM me, hit me up. I love it. I love working deals. I love helping people. And if you even have a deal that you need to help to sell, I mean, I'm all about it. I just had this 24-year-old kid come in my office last week saying, "Hey, I've been producing leads. I don't know how to close them. Will you call these people back for me?" Literally in a week, we got a deal here in Arizona. We got it tied up for 70,000. Just sold it this morning for 115. His first deal. 24 years old. All he needed was just help. He had people that wanted offers.
Bro, how many wholesalers in that situation? I would say countless. I know when I first started, if I had someone that could help me out, I would have made triple, quadruple, because I was banging them doors, bro. So anyway, everyone, we'd love to work with you guys. We, hit us up, and we'll see you next week.
Next week, same place, same time.
That's it.
Hey, thanks, guys.